Hello everyone and welcome to lesson number 13 inside of Adobe Photoshop 2025. In today's video we're going to be talking about preferences, which is going to be covering the preferences for Photoshop. So let's head over to Photoshop right now and take a look at how we interact with the preferences. So I'm going to click on the inside the app here. If you're using Mac OS, you're going to go up to the top corner, click on Photoshop 2025, go to settings. Windows is going to be a similar option, but you're going to go to, I believe it's edit, and then you're going to find settings and go to general. And if it's not settings, it would be preferences. Okay, so I'm going to click on general, and you'll notice that there's a bunch of options here to get us set up for Photoshop. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a quick overview of each option here, okay? So general is just, you get a color picker, so you can pick Adobe or Apple, HUD color picker, image interpolation, so this is bicubic, okay? And then there's options. You can do auto update, open file based documents, beep when done. These are just different options that happen when you do certain things, okay? If I go to interface, which is one of my more favorite parts, I can change the color. So we can go Snow White, light gray, darker gray, and then a real dark gray, which I prefer because it's easier on your eyes. So I'm going to leave it there. For workspace, you can have auto collapse, iconic panels, auto show, hidden panels, open documents as tabs. So these are tabs right here. Okay. We have large tabs, so it's easy to read the titles. Okay. And then you can enable narrow options bar, enable native full screen. Okay. I'm not going to do that, but you can do that. And you can also restore your default workspaces. So when you do, for general, if you can reset preferences on quit. So you can customize all this and then reset it when you quit, and then it will go back to the default. Okay. For tools, there's just a bunch of options here. You can show tooltips, rich tooltips, enable gestures, which is used for like a touchscreen device like an iPad, or that's what gestures are. Use shift key for tool switch, over scroll, enable flick, panning, double click, layer mask launches, etc. Okay, and then there's a bunch of other stuff here. History and content credentials. We can look at the history log, and then you can save the log as metadata, text file, or both. And you can also select the options, content credentials. We have none. You can enable for saved documents, enable for new and saved documents. Export as options, none, or you can do any of these that you want. Okay, file handling. When we save a file, it's going to always save and have an image preview. Okay, so it'll show a thumbnail. File extension is going to use lowercase. You can do uppercase or lowercase. Default location is on your computer. You can also do Creative Cloud. Okay. You can enable legacy save as, save as to original folder, save in the background. Okay, then we can look at export. With export, we have PNG with transparency. Performance, this has to do with your hardware. So if you have, for my example, I have 16 gigs of RAM, and I'm using 8 gigs of RAM for Photoshop. So you can optimize cache levels and tile size for web UI design, default photos, and huge pixel dimensions. Okay, this affects your performance and how quickly you can do things in Photoshop based on some of these options. The more RAM you put towards the application, the quicker it's going to work. Image processing. So select subject and remove background. Okay. We're going to do select processing, remove tool processing, enhance detailed processing, always faster. You can do more stable, faster, more stable, etc. Scratch disks. Okay, so Right now I only have my hard drive on my Mac plugged in. I have 106 gigs free, but if you had an external drive, you could use that as a scratch disk, which is basically where you're going to save all your files. Okay. And that way, if you need more space, you can put it on your hard drive. Now, that's an older school kind of idea. Now that you have Creative Cloud, you don't really need to do that as much, but that's an option. Cursors, you can adjust the cursors. So, standard, precise, you can do color brush preview, and then painting cursors, so normal brush tip, full size brush tip, etc. Transparency and gamut, this is for grids. So the grid colors is light, the grid size is that. Units and rulers, so when you grab the units and rulers, it's going to show it in pixels, type is point, column sizes, guides the grids and slices. So this is when you are, basically, I'll show you what it is. So if I go and I hit Command R, and I drag these down, this is what they're talking about. Okay. And you can see right here all the different, we got it in pixels right now. So I can go like this, and I'm actually going to paint it like that so we can actually see the, okay, so let me go back to the settings here. Okay, so that's, and I'm going to change the interface to this. Okay. So that's guides, grids, and what that does is it makes it easier to see. You can customize this and change the colors. For plugins, you can set up plugins here for different options that they have. For type, we're going to leave everything as is. They have enhanced controls, so show touch bar, property adjustments, okay, technology previews, and product improvement. Now, one thing I recommend doing is, as you advance in Photoshop, come back and test out some of these, and we'll come back and we're going to be talking more in depth about each one of these tools. So this by no means is the last time that we're going to be talking about preferences, but it's just a rough overview of the preferences inside of Photoshop. All right, so thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for checking out Photoshop 2025 here on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you get an update anytime I upload new content, and check out some of my new videos right here on Techemy on YouTube.